Hey guys, what's up? It's Alex or Nuzz here, and welcome to another episode of Road to Partyhat. This episode has tons and tons of progress. I've unlocked a lot of upgrades to the account and have been having an absolute blast during Zamorak's release. I get some major drops as well in this video, so keep watching because this episode is one of my favorites. And if you haven't already, over 70% of you aren't subscribed, so subscribe and I'll give you a cookie in the comments. I promise. Seriously, I will. No, I seriously will give you a cookie. Alright, so leave a like if you're enjoying this series, and hopefully it can entertain you while you're escaping, grinding for Zammy, give you some motivation. Let's get into this video. So of course, as we always do with these episodes, we're going to start with the giant oyster. Come on guys, you should always do your oyster every single month. Still no die for us, but we did actually end up getting back-to-back fortunate components when I used the monthly reset tokens so I could do the oyster twice. We got like a free 4 mil, so I will definitely take that, and you should always do it just for some free money basically. So after this, I actually decided to do something that I haven't done in quite a while in Runescape, and that is actually work on my account. And I mean in terms of quests and skills. You guys know me, I am always somebody who just PVM. Sometimes I may go do things like clues or different things like that, but for me, I'm one of those people that likes to grind out bosses. That's one of my favorite things to do in Runescape, make money, stuff like that. So I'm not the person that, you know, tries to get 5.6 bill XP. You guys always roast me in the comments because of certain quests that I don't have done on my account. I don't have comp cape. I'm really one of those noobs from back in the day that would PVM in old Runescape, go to bandos with like max gear but have a combat bracelet instead of Barrow's gloves. Yes, that was me. Well, with the Zamorak release, I decided it was finally time to get some of this stuff done. So I actually managed to get level 120 archaeology. And not gonna lie, a lot of this was from the oddments I had left over from the Christmas event, but I did do archaeology a lot when I came out and grinded to over level 100, and then I did a lot of Tetra compasses as well, and I just hadn't finished out that 120. I would always go back and do some archaeology whenever I wanted to AFK, so finally we got it grinded out and we are level 120. Now the only thing I have left to do is to get all the mysteries and qualifications done, so then I can get the max relic power for PVM. I don't have too much to do, but I did do a few mysteries and collections this video, and I think next episode we'll finish that off so we can have that max relic power and get those best in slot relics. So all I need now, I think, is level 120 farming, herblore, and I believe that's it. 120 farming and herblore is all I have left. Actually, I need 120 slayer too, but I'm pretty close to all of those, so eventually we'll probably be getting that completion escape, but I think that means I gotta do a bunch of other stuff, but hey, maybe we'll get it. Something else I really needed to do was to get the Ring of Vigor passive effect, which it's received after the Extinction quest. I also need to do the Twilight of the Gods quest to get reroll tokens for Zamorak, and also get that nice 10% less damage taken at Zamorak. So all this is only going to look like a few minutes to you. The magic of YouTube. I actually grinded out like 5 or 6 quests, 2 mini quests, and probably spent a good 6 to 7 hours doing all these, including Desperate Times, Desperate Measures, Extinction, Broken Home, some Hess Oasis mini quests. We did unlock that Ring of Vigor passive finally, which I'm really happy about. Just have to never swap to my Ring of Vigor again is just really nice. So huge upgrades there. Then we also did the Twilight of the Gods quest, so now I can use those sweet reroll tokens at Zamorak. Thank you, Fraxu, for getting me through all these quests, and I also get the damage reduction as well, and hopefully some big loot from this release. So as you guys know, last episode we did a lot of Arch Glacier. We were on an 125 kill streak, so this episode, of course, I'm going to continue that. It has a little bit of time has passed since then, so I was scared I was going to be rusty going back in to do the Glacier, but I ended up doing okay. So last episode I think we were at like 1300% in rage, so these kills were taking much longer because once you get up to that 1500%, the kills start to really slow down. Any mistake you make could be your last, could be the end of the streak. So I was hoping, since we were such high in rage, we would start to get some, you know, maybe some uniques. But the good thing about being this high in rage was, and this high of a streak, we were getting massive drops from normal loot. So even if I got something like battle staffs, which isn't an amazing drop from the Glacier, it was sometimes like 10, 15 mil loot. Sometimes even I was getting like 30, 40 mil. So really, really good normal loot, even if we didn't get a drop. So we kept going here, and I got up to like 140 kill streak, which I passed my old highest kill streak by a good bit, and I was hoping I could get that 200 kill streak, but realistically, I know me, I haven't really been past 2000% in rage, and you definitely have to go past that to get the 200 kill streak. So I wasn't too, hopeful of it, but that was kind of like a goal in the back of my head. So we ended up going, and things were going pretty good, but then I made a vital mistake. We were at an 144 streak, I believe, maybe 148. It was like almost 1700 in rage, and I accidentally queued up an ability which dragged me into the pillars of ice and killed me through my sign. At that in rage, you're just not gonna live. I didn't record it. I'm dumb. I recorded right after I died in Death's office, but trust me, that's what happened. And yeah, so we ended up losing the streak, but the thing is, we still made almost 400 mil from this streak. I have like 70 Nylas in the bank now, so again, all we need is that core to finish off the log, but this streak took me a long time. It's been going since last episode, so it's finally done, but I at least get that massive amount of normal loot to sell and raise the bank value. So now it was finally time for Zamorak's release. Now I wasn't sure if I was going to feel up to playing and doing Zamorak, but I ended up actually having a lot of fun. It was a nice distraction, and Zamorak with a friend was just a great time. So I decided I would start with my friend because I just like doing bosses that are duo, trio. I don't know, I really like that they gave us the option to do Zamorak with basically whatever group of people we wanted. The Elite Dungeon, it didn't end up becoming my favorite thing just because after doing it so much, it kind of gets old. But at the start of the release, the Elite Dungeon was actually kind of fun. I like seeing all the new stuff, how it changed, and it was all around not too bad. It doesn't feel like something that I'm gonna want to grind hundreds of times, and it is kind of annoying that you have to grind 25 dungeon runs to basically be able to skip to the boss, but after I was able to go with my friend and we were able to skip to the boss, we ended up having a great time basically pushing up in rage. So throughout 3 or 4 days, we didn't rank too high on the leaderboards, but we were in like the top 150, 125 a few times. We didn't get like top 20 or anything like that, but we did push quite a bit at Zamorak. I believe the highest we got to about 320% in rage is where I'm at now. So not too bad. It started getting a bit tough because the HP at Zamorak just goes up massively as your enrage increases, and like things just get, of course, like any boss with enrage, just a lot harder. We didn't actually have too much trouble with the last phase, as I kept dying during the normal fight kind of more than I even would on the last phase, but eventually I got the hang of it. There are some tips that I may make a video on to share to help you guys things for the boss fight itself, but I had a really, really great time, and we did actually have some really, really good luck. So really early on, like 24 hours after release, I believe sometime on July 5th, we did some duo runs, and I actually ended up getting a huge drop, a Chaos Vestment top, which I ended up selling for 1.7 bill. This was our first drop at Zammy, and it was a really, really big split. I think it's dropped a lot now, but this was the second day, so it sold for way more than I actually expected, and I guess that was one of the most valuable items you can get. I know the bow pieces were definitely the most valuable, but in terms of everything else, this robe top was the new melee armor, and it's the top, which is probably the most expensive piece, so this definitely ended up being a really, really good drop, and I was super excited to get it because my release day luck isn't that great. I don't usually get anything crazy, but it was really, really fun, and really awesome. So we got this big drop, and then the Zammy loot actually ended up piling up a lot. So I'm going to show you now the normal Zammy loot. As you can see, the things you get, even if you increase in rage, it just keeps going up and up and up, which I'm curious how much money you're going to get per kill at like 3, 4, 5,000% in rage when people get there. Because when we were at like, I don't know, 20% in rage, we were getting like 2 mil a kill, sometimes 2.5 mil a kill. But when we got to like 200, 300% in rage, we were getting sometimes 8, 9, 10 mil a kill in just normal loot. And these kills took, 7 minutes, 8 minutes, and we were getting like 8 to 10 mil in normal loot. I am assuming some of this stuff will drop in price, but things like the rare relics or the onyxes, they're not going to drop too much in price because they have that alch value. So I still think even if the other commons drop, Zammy is still going to be quite a bit of money even if you don't get that rare drop. And something else that happened while we were continuing our duos and pushing in rage, I ended up getting another drop in my name. So during our duos, I got both drops, which was really, really nice. We ended up getting the blank ability codex, which is actually used to make the greater death swiftness and greater sunshine abilities, which basically allows you to not have to use planted feet if you're using death swiftness or sunshine, which is really, really nice as a quality of life improvement. But this did end up selling, I believe, for somewhere around 500 mil, a little bit over. So a pretty nice split there. So basically in unique drops, we made like 1.2 bill, maybe a little bit more. If you add in the normal loot, I probably made like 1.5 bill. You add in Glacier, maybe over max cash. I'm sitting really nicely now with, the value of the bank. And this was over maybe a 2-week span. I didn't play a ton until Zammy release, just because I was sick and everything. But now that Zammy release was here, I've been grinding a lot. I'm hoping to get some solos. I still need to actually run the elite dungeon a lot myself to be able to get the skip, because I only did about 15 runs with my friend, and then he was able to get the skip to go straight to the boss. So then I just kept going with him and skipping the dungeon. But if I want to be able to skip myself for solo, I think I need to do like 10 more elite dungeon runs, which is going to take a little bit of time. But I think once I get that done, it'll be nice to start soloing. And then in my elite dungeon chest, I actually have quite a bit of loot. I think like 50 to 60 mil. And then the little slivers are actually worth more than I thought. I had like 30 slivers of pain, I believe, which I think if I make those into the different upgrades, I can make a good 100, 200 mil there. So Zammy was really lucrative the first week, and I haven't camped and done like 200-300 kills. I think if we look, I've only done like 35 kills, but I do have 2 drops on my log, and we were pushing in rage the whole time. But I'm really happy that I grinded out those quests and got all those upgrades, and it paid off at Zammy. I did use quite a bit of rerolls there. Didn't really get anything good from those, but it was nice to have them in case we could get a big loot. But yeah, the episode felt pretty eventful, and I also think I made some big gains on the bank. So we're gonna go look at what we have in our bank and see how much we made. I do have a pretty nice loot tab coming along that we're also gonna price check too. Alright guys, so now we're gonna take a quick look at the loot tab that I've saved up and also our progress. So if we look at this loot tab, let me take out this cash here. We have about 500 mil. This is from the Arch Glacier and Zammy. Then I also have 68 Nylas, which I know I can turn into some money if I make the offhands, the cheaper ones. But I'm also waiting for that core, but I'll have a lot left over. So that's a little bit of money there. And then something I also wanted to mention was, since we've made all this money, I now have a max cash pile, and then I have extra money now, which has never happened before. So we're doing really good. I can't even fit this in my cash pouch, so I'm gonna have to buy like spirit shards or something, unless I decide to spend this. But money wise, we made probably two bill plus this episode, which is really, really nice. And then as for logs, the only bosses we did was the Arch Glacier, which of course we're still waiting for that last core. And then here is my Zammy log as of now. So we have these 2 drops. I only did solos like right when it came out, and I haven't really gone back, so I'm gonna need to go back and do some solos. But as for duos, I did get to, I think, around 310%. I think these are all pushing in rage. Maybe it's 320 based on the first kill, I'm not sure, but we did pretty good in that sense. So happy with how this log is so far. Hopefully next episode we fill out some of these bow pieces. I would like to buy the bow eventually because it feels like something that would be really fun to use, and looks like it could be really OP, so that may be a potential for next episode. But yeah, hopefully another episode in the next week or two. Make sure you subscribe if you want to see all these episodes when they come out. Again, there's a playlist of previous episodes on my channel too. But yeah, thank you guys for watching, and I will see you all in the next one.